Now just go back to that statement where we said that I'm here to express myself, and at the same time I'm here to experience my expression. So I need to make sure that if I need to express myself physically, I'll express it, I have a channel. When I need to express myself mentally, I'll express it, I have a channel. When I need to express myself spiritually, I have the channel, I can express it. So physical energy travels into a channel called Pingala. So this is a term which comes from yogic hypothesis. Pingala. Mental energy travels into a channel called Ida, and spiritual energy travels into a channel called Shushumana, or these channels are known as nadis. So channel of energy known as nadis. Some of the scriptures, some of the traditional texts, when they talk about nadis, they say these are the three major nadis, but the diversion of these nadis, these three major nadi, is as much as 72,000 within this human organism. Some other text of yoga talks about the net or the web of these nadis in the body, and they say they are as many as 350,000 nadis, pathways of energy through which the energy travels all over the body. So some of the people in modern time, they try and correlate nadis with our peripheral nervous system. So when our nervous system extends from brain and from spinal cord and it goes all over in the body, so they say nadi traditionally means nervous system. But some of the people, they have studied these hypotheses a great deal. They say no, nadis are more subtle than nervous system. Nadis are more subtle than nervous system. It's just like we can see the wire of electric current, but we cannot see the current. The wires are there. So wire means that's the nervous system, but the current, that's the energy which travels in it. So we can't see it. Now we have the pathways. Next, which is very close to the nadi, comes the concept of chakras. Have you heard about it? So what comes to your mind when you think of chakra? 7 chakras, colors, wheel, spirituality, energy centers, balance. What is it? Bandhas. Yes, bandha is the practice to evolve. So within the spine there are 6 centers. Ida and Pingala originates from Mooladhara, and they crisscross these chakras, and that's how the energy flows to the top. Chakras are transformers of energy. Transformers of energy in which way? People say in the hypothesis that this is the center of energy, and then from here on the energy moves upward. So this is the place where Kundalini is. Base chakra. Kundalini is also known to us as Shakti. Now this is the last point. This is the end of the duality. After 6th, this is only one stream, no fluctuation at all. So duality ends here at 6th chakra, and then the last one is the 7th one, and this is the place of Shiva. But make it clear that Shiva, neither he is a male nor female, because most of the time when we see the picture of Shiva, there is a male deity. Yes. So now, what we have studied, that Kundalini is here, but from where the Kundalini comes? What is the source of Kundalini? Because this is just half hypothesis. If Kundalini is here at the center and is trying to unite with Shiva, and that's union, what is the source of Kundalini then? So I would say the source of Kundalini is again Shiva. So before ascension, there is a descension of Kundalini. Before ascension, there is a descension of Kundalini. So before this, there is this. So Kundalini comes down first. Did you remember? Consciousness, then energy, then space, then air. So you can relate every chakra with their specific element. So the element which corresponds to the base chakra is earth. Element which corresponds to the second chakra is water. The element which corresponds to the third one is fire. Fourth one, air. Fifth one, space. Sixth one, mind. That means the individual consciousness. And seventh one is universal consciousness. So earth element corresponds to the very first chakra, second chakra water, third fire, fourth air, fifth space, mind, and then consciousness. So when I was talking about the manifestation, so consciousness to mind, that means the grossification of consciousness. From mind to space, grossification of mind. From space to air, grossification of space. From air to fire, grossification of air. So before, there was a descension. Descension is spontaneous. Descension is spontaneous. But ascension, I need to make choices. Ascension, I need to make choices. Now I said, these chakras are nothing but transformers. Transformers in which way? Now think of a hydropower station which supplies the electricity to this area. Think of a hydropower station which supplies the electricity to this particular area. But if you go straight into the hydropower station, the amount of electricity produced or the intense form of electricity produced, can we use it directly to our homes? No. So here comes the power station. It produces intense amount of energy in intense form. We cannot use it. So we have some lines, some energy channels. They bring that intense form of energy all the way close to the village, and outside of the village we have some transformers, electric transformers. Now in these wires inside this room we have 220 volt current, but we have some small appliances like mobile phone, camera batteries, all those things. Can we use this current directly to that? No. Now we need to convert this AC into DC. Again, the small adapters, they are nothing but transformers. So we convert electricity into usable formats. We convert the electricity into usable formats. Now think of consciousness, which is universal consciousness, is the power station. And this instrument is too small to use that intense form of energy. So what happens to energy? Step down. So what is mind? It's nothing but step down of universal consciousness. So here comes the sixth chakra as a transformer which steps down consciousness as individual consciousness. Further step down, again a transformer, again a transformer. So step down, step down, step down, step down. Ultimately, it appears as matter, earth. This is called descension. Now, what happens once the Kundalini has reached to this place, Mooladhara? What next? Is it going to go upward on its own? Okay, now think of this, or think of organism as a glass, and think of these chakras as the hole in the glass. Now pour the water from the top. What's going to happen? It leaks. So these chakras are actually the leakage point. These chakras are actually the leakage points. So what happens? Energy comes down, and then from here I leak it. Not just from here, but I leak it from here also. And because of that, it seems like these chakras from here, top, they're not open. Because these two are heavily open. So when the Kundalini comes down, I discharge that energy outside. And here comes the role of Bandha. I was talking about it one day. Bandha means what? Creation of dam. Bandha means what? Creation of dam. So I hold this energy, I hold this overflow here, and then what happens? The level goes up. Once I cross this center, that means now we are talking about the Kundalini ascension. Here comes the time that you do Bandha practices, not just physically but mentally, and you have helped your ascension of Kundalini to reach to this place, and now you allow free and open all the windows. You're never going to feel discharge, because now this loop is complete. Now this loop is complete. When all of them are balanced, yes, because then it becomes perpetual machine, which runs on its own energy forever without being drained. Yes, so yes. So there are many practices. I would just say one thing, and that one thing is, we have used these chakras for step down. We have used these chakras for the step down of Kundalini. Yoga practice is all about using them for step up. We need to convert this form of energy into this form of energy, and we have the ability to these transformers, which we know them as chakras. Not only they are able to step down the energy, they can also step up the energy. So whoever has got the regulation over these centers, and these centers are not just physical, these centers are not just physical, because anytime we talk about chakras, we refer to the spine. But the question comes, are they in the spine? So where are they then? So we talk about the chakras within the spine, but think about that the chakras are not in the spine, they are in the brain. Every part of my body has a corresponding center in the brain, but I cannot stimulate the brain directly. So when I stimulate this particular area of my spine, I stimulate a corresponding center in the brain. When I stimulate this area of my spine, I stimulate a corresponding center in the brain. So chakras are actually in the brain. The centers in the spine, they are just switches. But here comes the next question, and the next question is, are they in the brain or in the mind? And then where is mind? And then where is mind? Because the centers in the brain, or brain in itself, is just an instrument for the mind to execute itself. It's not that the brain gives rise to the mind. It's other way around. Brain is one of the physical expression of our mind. So the chakras are not, neither they are in the spine nor they are in the brain, they are in the mind. And where is the mind? Whole of the existence is our mind. Discussing Annamaya Kosha a bit, we talked about Pranamaya Kosha. Slowly we are heading towards Manomaya Kosha, but today I'll stop somewhere between Pranamaya Kosha and Manomaya Kosha. So traditionally what I'm discussing today, or what I'm going to discuss today, is not the part of Panchakosha, but I'm adding it in. Here comes we are leaving the prana and we are entering into Manomaya Kosha. That means at the center of these two, there is something which is physical and at the same time psychological in its nature. So psychophysiological form of energy that stays between Pranamaya Kosha and Manomaya Kosha. And this psychophysiological form of prana, or you can say energy, is known to us as Kundalini. The nature of this force is psychophysiological, so that means at least there are two forces involved in it. But we say there are three: is physical energy, mental energy, spiritual energy. Nature of physical energy is to move outward. Nature of physical energy is to move outward. Nature of mental energy is to move inward. So just forget about the outward and inward expression of yesterday prana. Just think about this very differently. So nature of physical energy is to move outward. So that means the physical energy moves from inside out. It expresses itself. Nature of mental energy is to move from outside in. Spiritual energy is the balance of these two. So that means willfully if a person needs to manifest, outward expression can express. If needs the inward journey, can go inside at will. So these two things together, that's spiritual energy. So if this is inside and this is outside, so the nature of physical energy is to move outward. So this is the spark and then it expresses itself outward. Nature of mental energy is to move inward. This is outside and then it moves inward. Spiritual energy is a circle around these two forces, which is nothing but the balance of these two forms. So this is yantra. Yantra. So anytime you think of your mind and the way mind stores information in it, it stores information in forms of structures, geometrical shapes. If you see the nature of physical, it appears that this is the masculine energy. Nature of mental energy is feminine, and spirituality again is the balance, union of these two. Masculine energy, if you see it, it's more of a logical form of energy. There is logic. Feminine energy, intuition. Spirituality, intelligence. We all know that the masculine energy is never just masculine. There is feminine aspect to it, and feminine energy is never just feminine. There's a masculine aspect to it, and everything is inside this organism. So to express logic, we have left brain, and to express intuition, we have right brain. And the balance of these two is spirituality. So that means now with EEG or electroencephalograph, we can actually check if a person is spiritual or not. So we cannot just say, yes, we are spiritual, but now we can actually measure, are we spiritual or not? When both of the brain hemisphere works together, that means the person is spiritual. So are you having both of the brain hemisphere functioning for you right now? What do you think? So how do I know that the brain is working holistically with both of the brain hemisphere right now? Now flow of energy is managed by moon. That's the hypothesis. So hypothesis says that moon and the cycle of moon around the earth regulates the energy patterns inside the human organism. So left brain if it is active in you, that means the right nostril is more open. So you can check. So close one and breathe with the other and feel the flow, and then block this one, open the other one and feel the flow. Always one is more predominant over the other. So after checking, how many of you have right nostril is the dominating one right now? Right nostril. So if right one is dominating you right now, that means you're using left brain. That means right now you're using a lot of logic. You're supposed to have intuition in this classroom, otherwise you're going to struggle. Right brain, that means left nostril. So there are some people, they have left nostril active more in comparison to the right one. So that means you are experiencing intuition right now. So it's easy for you to get connect with what is happening in front of you. Then there are going to be some people, they have both of the nostril open simultaneously. So are there? That's good. So we got some spiritual people also sitting in this room. So what is the symptom of spirituality? It's not that if I wear orange clothes, have big beard, and I live somewhere in a cave, then only it makes me spiritual. No. You can be spiritual here by activating both of your nostrils. Yes, this comes as a question quite often, where people says like, what about the deviation of nasal septum? So the wall between two nostrils, it gets deviated towards one side. Now think of, actually nowadays, people are raised in a logical environment. And anytime if they want to, even if they want to use intuition, it's cursed. So if you stay with the logic all the time, for sure, nasal septum is going to get deviated. And even after surgery, I know people, they went on having the surgery to open it up. But after a few years, again, the bone grows towards the same side. Yes, and then there are some people, they always stay with the intuition. I'm not saying it's just with the logic. Then there are some people, they just always stay with the intuition and logic is missing. Yes. But again, it's not going to get fixed in few weeks or few months. Because it's the complete transformation is needed. Because it seems like for all those years, the person was either under logic or under intuition. So one faculty was missing. So right brain, that means left nostril. Balance means both nostrils active. So why not we breathe through both nostrils? Why both of the brains are not active simultaneously? I would say just because right nostril is more physical, right side of the body is masculine side of me, and left side is the feminine side. So anytime when the right nostril is active, I can do physical activities very easily. So if you need to plow a field, 100 yards, that requires a lot of physical energy. So at that time you need what? Right nostril flow. So you can, instead of sending the energy to the left nostril and right nostril together, you can actually make a concentrated effort just with right nostril to do something physical. Now think of it in a way that one day you come to the classroom, same teacher, same sequence, one day enjoys and the next day you feel awkward. So maybe the day you enjoyed was matching the flow of energy, and the day you were not enjoying was a mismatch. But if you need to do something mental in the sense, think of you that you are a musician and you need to create a composition, then physical energy is not going to be supportive. So then you need to have the left nostril active. If you are a painter, you require left nostril. Anything creative requires left nostril. If you need to write a book or a poem, that requires left nostril. But if you think that you need to meditate right now, neither the right one is complete nor the left one, because you needed both of them together. Because for meditation, your physical and mental energy is supposed to be balanced. Now think of those people that they sit in meditation, because that's the meditative session, and they have right nostril active. Yes. So many thoughts are going to come to their mind, and it's hard for them to push those thoughts away. If you're trying to do meditation with left nostril active, what's going to happen? You're going to feel sleepy, dull, lazy. It's going to be hard for you to sit there for 5 minutes. So meditation is possibility only if both of the nostrils are active, and because of that we do alternate nostril breathing as a preparation for simultaneous flow of both nostrils. Here comes a time that you can choose a particular flow of energy according to the need of the moment. So if you're supposed to participate into a physical activity, you activate the right side. If you need to participate into a mental activity, you activate the left side. If you need to meditate, you activate both. And because of that, these facilities are given. Otherwise, both nostrils can work simultaneously. So it's not that we're going to meditate throughout the day. But if we want to, we can. Now what happens? It is regulated by moon. Now how it's regulated? If you go and study Swara Yoga, this is a tiny book which talks about moon and its influence over our energy patterns. Swara Yoga, S-W-A-R, Swara Yoga. Now under this, we have a calendar. And this calendar talks about that on a particular day of moon cycle, you're supposed to have a particular nostril flowing at the time of sunrise. According to this calendar, on a particular day of a moon cycle, you're supposed to have a particular flow of a particular nostril at the time of sunrise. And if it is not there, that means what? Pranamaya Kosha is not functioning according to the laws of nature. That means Pranamaya Kosha is not functioning according to the laws of nature. That means this organism has started opposing the laws of nature. Only if it is according to the moon and its calendar and it's happening the way. But again, it's a hypothesis. You need not to be scared, it seems. So what happens that according to the moon calendar, it's supposed to be a specific flow today. So just take it that according to the calendar, it says like right nostril supposed to be active today at the time of sunrise. So it stays active for 60 to 90 minutes. It stays active for 60 to 90 minutes, and then after 60 to 90 minutes, it comes back to the other side. So that means today I have started my day with right nostril. That means with logic. After 3 days, it's going to change. After 3 days, I'm going to start my day with left nostril. And then again after 3 days, it comes back to right nostril. So it fluctuates every third day. So 60 to 90 minutes, one stays active and then it gets to the other side. But when it gets shifted for 2 to 5 minutes, both of the nostrils stays active. So that means several times in a day, we become spiritual. Several times in a day, when it moves from right to left or left to right, we experience some degree of spirituality for 2 to 5 minutes. Now, how many of you are experiencing the right nostril? That's good. So now you put your left hand under your right armpit and press it. I'm talking to the people, they were having right nostril active. So you put your left hand under your right armpit and press it for 2 minutes, and it's going to shift it the other side. It's going to shift the flow of energy to the other side. If you are the person who are having left side active, so you put your right hand under your left armpit and press it, it'll go towards the right side. 2 minutes. Yes. So that means with small things, you can change the flow of energy according to your requirement. Yogis, when they used to meditate, they used to use a wooden structure under their armpit to press it. Anytime if they need to, they just press it and it goes to the other side. Or anytime if you lay down to the left, side, it makes your right one active. Anytime you lay down to the right side, it makes your left one active. On top, here comes a time in your practice of meditation that you just focus upon the nostril. You just focus upon the left nostril and it activates the left one. You just focus upon the right nostril and it activates the right one. Just by mental influence, you can activate a particular flow of nostril. If you need both, you just stay at the center, tip of the nose, and it activates both of the nostrils simultaneously. So just with mind, you can influence later on. But initially, forward fold. If you're finding it hard to perform forward fold, means what? Lack of humility, and I'm sorry to say so. Anytime you're finding it hard to fold forward, that means lack of humility. You need to increase your level of humbleness a little bit more. These are the psychological reasons. If a person is struggling to have forward bend, that means lack of humility. If a person is finding it hard to have back bend, that means what? Lack of self-respect and confidence for sure. Because that's the same thing. So lack of self-respect or lack of confidence. So if I'm finding it hard to go back bend, that means lack of self-respect or lack of confidence. If I'm finding it hard to fold forward, lack of humility. And then there are people, it seems like it's harder in front and harder backward. Because I would say humility and self-respect, these are not two things. Because sometimes there is a possibility that it's a little bit up and down. But if I'm stuck with forward fold, there is also a possibility that I'm stuck with backward bends. There is a possibility that there are some people, they can do very good forward bend and at the same time very good backward bend, but neither of these two things are, yes, they're missing. Why? Because there is a definition. The definition is whole of the body is in the mind, but whole of the mind is not in the body. Whole of the body is in the mind, but whole of the mind is not in the body. So there is a possibility that they have gained forward fold and backward bend physically, but psychological stuff is still missing. Because whole of the body is in the mind, but whole of the mind is not inside the body because mind is much bigger. So anytime I struggle with forward fold, that means what? What stops me? No, that's psychological. Now I'm asking the physical reason. The whole of the body is in the mind, whole of the mind is not in the body. So what stops me? Hamstrings. And also, these are the three major muscles which stops you to go into forward fold. So hamstring, that's the back of the thigh. Gluteus maximus, that's butt. And then lower erector spine, lower back. And it's not allowing you to go forward. All these muscles are there in the dorsal side of the body. All these muscles are there on the dorsal side of the body. Dorsal side of the body means what? I would say impressions. These are the strong impressions from past. So anytime you think of the back of the body, that means this is your past. And it seems like this past is not allowing you to fold forward. This past is actually pulling you backward. So hamstring pulls you backward, gluteus maximus pulls you backward, and then lower erector spine pulls you backward. And it seems like hard for you to go forward. It seems like the past is pulling you back. That means what? Impressions from the past, that means did you remember I said the total sum of human struggle, three things. And what are those three things? Pain from the past, conflict with the present moment, and worries and fear about future. So pain from the past It seems like in this condition, if I'm finding it hard to go forward, it's hard for me to appreciate my past. It seems like I have a lot of questions which I haven't answered about my past, and it seems like I complain about it. Why I got this person as my father? Why I got this person as my mother? Why I got those circumstances for me to live my childhood? Why I got all those things what I got? That means a lot of complaint without having any answers of those questions. So anytime you do forward fold, what happens? Just not for 1 or 2 days, but if you do it for a week or two, for a month or two, what happens? Those memories from childhood, they're going to pop up. Those memories of the childhood, those memories are going to pop up in front of you. And now the idea is what? I need to see those events of my life again, and I need to choose a better meaning of those events. Is there a possibility for me to appreciate my past? And I'm not saying just go and appreciate it without any reason, but you can see yourself right now. So if I see myself right now, whatever I am, it's because of all those events, from so-called good to so-called bad, from so-called negative to so-called positive. That makes me who I am right now. We're going to talk about this later on as we're going to go into Pranamaya Kosha. But it seems like anytime I'm finding it hard to fold forward, these are the things stopping me. That means that's my past. That means there is lack of appreciation.